What is up, RotoGrinders? We're back, part two. Still the early slate is still playing out. If you happen to play some White Sox and some Phillies, good news for you. Turns out they're gonna first pitch 5:45 on the East Coast, so you're still alive. Your teams are not officially dead. Philadelphia and Chicago, they are going to give it a go. First pitch looking at 5:45 on the East Coast. We care about tonight's slate, and tonight's slate's only. We're here for an hour and 40 minutes, including crunch time. Later on, you get Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. TastefulTides, Tim is coming in as well. Additionally, Kirkdiese, leader of the Juggalos, coming on around 6 o'clock or so on the East Coast. Why are they jumping on early? Well, because the slate starts early. We are including the Rockies and the Guardians, the 6:40 start. So early start to the slate. So that's why crunch time will be jumping in a little bit early. Myself, joined today by Kyle Murray, best hair in the business, best golf capper in the business. I think you did it again, Kyle. Shout out to you. Is it 3 in the last 6 weeks, 4 in the last 7? What do we have as far as outright winners? You're scalding right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been a good ride. It's 3 outright winners in the last 6 weeks, with 2 guys actually losing in a playoff. So as crazy as 3 in 6 weeks is, it could have been even crazier with adding another 1 or 2. So it's been a good ride. Yeah, 90-1 and then 2 40-1 winners in that stretch. So let's keep it rolling.
How many units are we up? Do you want to what number? What are we up? Like I don't know, 200 units, 150 units over this run, something like that. Something goofy, right?
No, I wish, because for golf, it's usually a quarter unit at most on these outrights. Because I usually will do 4 to 6 outright picks a week, and then usually the top guy that I like the most, I'll put half unit on. It all depends on the week, but yeah, usually. So I think the Kitayama one, it was like 0.15 units to win like 10 units. So it's nothing too crazy, but it certainly will certainly keep the lights on. That's for sure.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean, you're taking 4 to 6 golfers in a field of, I don't know, 130. Is that about right? Is that
like 150 to 160 a week?
Okay. Yeah, I was shortening you a little bit, but and getting half of them correct is pretty spectacular. Keep that momentum going over there on scores and odds. All right. Oh, we have a 6-gamer tonight. Another game that's potentially dicey. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat for the people. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth is telling us it's orange in St. Louis. Earlier today we had a red-orange game, but it got a little bit better. They waited it out there with Philadelphia and the White Sox. Roth will come on later, add some clarity, but as of right now, straight orange. He's expecting a delay of some sort and a possible postpone for Miami and St. Louis. We have Eovaldi chalk. How do you feel about Nate Eovaldi chalk? Which, by the way, he's been awesome this year. When he's been healthy, he's been one of the better pitchers in all of baseball. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I've neglected him too much this year. He's old. Maybe I have a little bit of an age bias to him, but he has been absolutely spectacular. It's Wu and Eovaldi that they're going to be super popular as far as stacks, as far as the slate overview. A couple teams around the 5 total. Yankees almost pushing 5 against Zach Littell. Littell giving up a lot of homers, a lot of power. A tough ballpark, unforgiving ballpark there at Yankee Stadium, especially for that lefty power. Obviously, they still know Judge out for a bit. Ohtani drawing the start for the Dodgers. I know Ohtani's not going to accumulate any points from a hitting perspective on DK. I think FanDuel's doing the same thing. I cannot confirm or deny. Do you know that for sure, Kyle? Can you roster Ohtani as a hitter on FanDuel? Probably not. I'm not sure, though. Can't speak to that. But just be aware of that. Certainly a hit to the Dodgers stack. We're still in the midst of a hug watch. Some players that may or may not get traded. The deadline is tomorrow. The Seattle Athletic game, I don't know about yourself, Kyle, but it has disappointed me in back-to-back games. Now we have Wu, one of the better pitchers. The total's down to 9.5. Maybe this is the day that the ballpark goes off there in Sacramento. It's not as hot as it has been. It's in the 80s. Wind is still blowing out, and just generally speaking, that ballpark is appealing for power. How are we seeing the overview? What's your thoughts as far as tonight's 6-gamer, which may or may not turn into a 5-gamer? Keep an eye on Michaelis versus Quantrill, the Marlins, and the Cards currently orange.
Yeah, like you mentioned, small slate might even get smaller there. And then the 2 chalk pitchers, I think, are pretty deserving of being the chalk pitchers. I mean, you can honestly make a case that they could be the only pitchers to even throw 90 pitches today, and you wouldn't even be all that surprised. I mean, we have a couple of guys projected for a few more here and there, but I mean, in terms of, upside guys that like with longer leashes and whatnot, both in pretty good strikeout matchups as well, Will and Eovaldi certainly deserving of being the chalk on a fairly weak pitching slate. I mean, you can even just see that in the price, right? You have the two guys above 10K and then nobody in the nines. You didn't have anybody above 8. So you have Soriano, who's at 8 flat, nobody else in between him and Wu. So the price kind of dictates a lot of that ownership as well. So for me, from a pitching perspective, you're either eating the chalk with both of those guys and hopefully making sure that you're being different with the bats, which, usually if you double spend up, you kind of have to. It's a little easier to work yourself into getting a little bit unique anyway, because you're probably saving some salary with the bats. That'll also open up some bad chalk for hitting, because you're gonna have guys who are just forced to spend down, and that's certainly gonna have some cheapies that probably aren't deserving of being overly popular, but this slate just kind of dictates that. And then, or you can maybe use one of these guys and then try to get a little bit different with some of these secondary options. So that's kind of the way I'm seeing this slate right now. It's kind of like two paths to building. You either double spend up, eat the chalk, and then look to get different with the stacks, or you pick one of these guys and you look to get a little bit different, save a little bit of money with that SB2, and then hopefully you spend up a little bit more and have some leverage there to spend with the hitters.
Have you decided on your path? I think double barrel is probably the route I'm going to choose. Wu and Eovaldi, I think. I'm not married to it, and mostly it's because of if you don't pick those two, it just gets ugly really, really fast. We're expecting Sheehan to be the long man that follows Ohtani. Ohtani's 7.5. I was thinking maybe we can roster him.
Yeah,
you can kind of tell yourself a story if he pitches 4 innings and strikes out 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Or what? I'm not sure. It really seems like you're threading. You got to thread a needle. It's really, really tricky. But it's also speaking just to the nature of the slate, where I think he can get you 15 points if all goes well. Probably doesn't have a chance to win, right? Probably doesn't go 5 innings, so it's tough. But then I don't want to roster Littell really. I don't really trust Sheehan, although he has shown some fastball stuff, and who knows how much he'll get, following Ohtani. Soriano, consistent ground ball guy. Michaelis, there's weather, and he doesn't strike anybody out. We have seen Warren kind of jump up and strike out some people on occasion, so I think he's in the mix. He's somebody I would consider. I know Dave was writing in his article today talking about the lefties and the righties. His splits are pretty dramatic. And how many lefties is he going to have to face today? Well, we just got the Rays lineup. Let's see if I pull up Plate IQ. Does it have the official Rays lineup in here? It's still showing a question mark, although I believe we actually got it. Well, I don't think it's changed from the projected either. But yeah, Simpson and Lau and Aranda. It's a pile of lefties. The only righties in there happen to be Caminero, who's tough, as far as being a righty, and Diaz, who's got power. And it's just a tough matchup, I think, for Warren. A lot of lefties, and the two righties are really, really good. But I guess he can, kind of get by, I suppose. But the K's have been awesome, 33% versus righties. Not nearly as great versus lefties, 21%, and really vulnerable. 204 ISO, too high, and a WOBA 375. So I wanted to like Warren, but I kind of backed off it just because the matchup I don't think is very good. But that's where we're at, right, Kyle? So are we for sure going to go Eovaldi and Wu? How about this? Your favorite amongst those two? Can you split the hairs and say you prefer Nate or Brian amongst the two?
It's tough. I think they're both very similar. I think I give the slight edge to Eovaldi. I think his strikeout matchup is just a bit better. Picked on this Angels team last night with the Patrick Corbin strikeout prop, which I can confidently say that's the only time I've ever bet an over on a Patrick Corbin strikeout prop. I mean,
did it get there?
It did. Yeah, he had 6 actually.
Shout out to you.
On a 4.5 prop. He had 3 in the first inning, then went a while without getting any, and then he had 1 in the 5th or 1 in the 4th, and then 2 in the 5th. So he ended up getting there easily, but there was definitely a sweat in there, which
never in doubt.
Yeah, I mean, the Patrick Corbin hater days are 4 or 5 years in the past. When what was it? Had to have been Nationals, I think.
Yeah,
just stacking against him freely because he was just so bad. And that was before prop betting was even a thing around me, or at least online. So Yeah, that was definitely the first time, and maybe even the only time I've ever won while betting on Patrick Corbett and not fading him. So that was fun. But he had a successful night strikeout wise. When you look at the matchup for Eovaldi, you got 6 guys in this lineup with a 25.5% strikeout or higher against right-handed pitching so far this season. You have a couple of low strikeout guys in there as well. Shane Well's not going to strike out a lot, Renifo, but these guys also don't have power, right? So it's like if you can just get around the power and preferably strike these guys out, the guys who's probably not going to have a ton of strikeout success against typically aren't going to be packing a huge punch. So I do prefer Eovaldi over Wu. Wu's been working fairly deep into games. He was a guy who I was consistently betting unders on his strikeouts. He just doesn't have like elite strikeout numbers. This A's team has been hit or miss from a strikeout perspective. The current lineup they're rolling out there, you got a couple of guys who are just very stingy, who we haven't really been seeing in the lineup all year. Andujar, Urias are 2 guys we have projected in the lineup. Langeliers is back. He doesn't strike out a ton. So it's not as great of a strikeout lineup as we've seen them roll out at points throughout this year. So I think I slightly prefer Eovaldi. I do think that going both of those guys is still the safer option, but there's certainly a couple of fun guys that I think you have to talk yourself into it. I mean, they're certainly not smash plays. You got to kind of get there, maybe lie to yourself a little bit to click some of these buttons, but sometimes that's what you got to do, especially in tournaments.
Yeah. Eovaldi, not a big split. If it's pretty neutral as far as a pitcher, and you're talking about that Angels lineup. It's not out just yet, but there is some power there, but there's also plenty of Ks. I like Eovaldi. He's at the lowest ERA in the slate. He's at the lowest Sierra in the slate. He's got arguably the highest K rate. If you want to count Ohtani, he's 27.7% in 12 innings, which is probably sustainable. That's probably going to be about where he is. One of the lower walk rates as well, if not the lowest. Littell's got him 3.3%. Wu and Eovaldi, both strike throwers. Wu 4.8%, Eovaldi 4.9%. The Ks are pretty good. Eovaldi also doing a great job keeping the ball on the ground as well. Verlander, by the way, is available on the market. If you're in the market for a 43-year-old pitcher,
bring him home.
Send
bring him home. Put him in the bullpen.
Yeah, would he go to Detroit? Is that I suppose maybe why not? Have him be on the run if you guys making a World Series run. That'd be pretty cool.
Even if he doesn't play well here, if he doesn't play at all, let him retire here.
You guys like him there, right? I'm pretty sure he's still beloved there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb Ferguson traded to the Mariners, the relief pitcher for Pittsburgh, I think. Caleb Ferguson. This is the time of year, like this last month and a half, when the terrible teams are trading off their 2 best arms in the bullpen, where the bullpens get distinctly, worse on the really bad teams. Just something to keep an eye on. We'll see how that stuff all shuffles out. Obviously, a bunch of guys are going to get traded in the next 24 hours or so. Okay, so we're going to go dumpster diving. We're not playing Wu. We're not playing Eovaldi. We're not playing both. We got to have another one on DK. Soriano. Do you want to bet on Sheehan? Littell? Warren? Stop me when you like somebody. Do you like any of these names?
What's the best first name a guy could have?
Kyle.
Indeed. Kyle Freeland. He's the guy for me today.
It's Cleveland is so bad against lefties. I guess that's the bet.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a couple of enticing things about Freeland's numbers. First of all, you look at his data at home versus on the road. No surprise, a guy who has to pitch in Coors Field and probably not enjoy it too much, but he has an xFIP almost a full point lower, 3.7 xFIP on the road compared to over 4.5 at home, which, it's not a surprising metric at all, but I do think that just the overall, I guess, I don't want to say aura and sound like I'm 18 years old, but the aura around Kyle Freeland, I do think is negative because of the fact that the feelings, the thoughts and the opinions on Freeland are probably a little bit negative because of the fact that he doesn't pitch in Coors Field a lot, and that's not going to help anybody. Now, sure, he's a guy who I backed a little bit last game against the Orioles in Baltimore, and he gave up 4 solo home runs, which is never fun. But this is not a team that is as good as the Orioles. And again, Orioles got a lot better against lefties. They're also very bad against lefties leading up to that point, but they got Westberg back. They got O'Neill back, all those guys. This Guardians team, I think last time I was on a show, we slandered this Guardians team against the lefty. I forget who it was. And it's not even slander because they deserved it. They just don't have any truth. 100%. They don't have anybody that's really all that talented outside of Jose Ramirez that against lefties anyway. So, I mean, you have a couple of guys who should be fine. Like David Fry is a guy who's hit lefties well in the past, but not this year. So, yeah, it's
you see his K rate this season in 75 at bats. His K rate, not to cut you off, but 40%. Now, I don't know if that's going to sustain going forward, but it's going to be 40% is an alarming number. And 75 bats, it's not nothing. But it's bad.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys. You got a couple of guys at that. Arias, 36%. Nolan Jones and 53 at bats, 34%. Rokia, who's he should not be striking out a ton because that guy, if he's striking out a ton, I don't know why he has a job. 28% against lefties. Hedges, 34%. I mean, yeah, small sample, but
terrible.
Yeah. So typically the Guardians in the past years have not been a high strikeout team, and they've also had more power. This year, they're lacking power, especially against lefties, and they're striking out more. So, yeah, sorry about the train. It haunts me. But, yeah, so Freeland's probably my guy when dumpster diving. And I saw someone mention Freeland chalk. We have him at 9% projected ownership. So, if Sheehan's going to be double his ownership, that's the chalk. Soriano, Michaelis, I would rather play Freeland over all these guys, especially if the ownership's going to be reflected in what we have right now. So, I'll take Freeland there.
Yeah, I would take Freeland over Sheehan as well. And certainly as far as baseball's thrown is upside, Sheehan probably doesn't come into the fourth inning or so, right? So I guess in theory he can close the game out depending on how the game is going, depending on how efficient he is pitch wise, but probably not. And they're going to roll Freeland. The Colorado's going nowhere, but they'll let him pitch. They'll let him go 6 or 7. Things are going pretty well. And again, Cleveland is just such an awesome opponent for lefties. I'm in on Freeland at 6K. I have no way. If I'm not doubling barrel, if I'm not going Wu and Eovaldi, he's probably the first place I'm going. I'm okay with Soriano. You mentioned Michaelis. I mean, even if there was perfect weather and there was no potential issues of a delay, it's just inability to strike people out. I just can't do it. He says no upside. It's basically non-existent. If you pull up his stats on the season for strikeouts, we're talking about 16%. It's just so low. And this Miami lineup is actually pretty contact heavy, 20.5%. Stowers, top power guy, he will strike out. But besides that, most of their top 6, 7, 8 hitters are in the green when it comes to making contact. They're also pretty patient too. Not that Michaelis is somebody that's going to walk people. He's a strike thrower. Probably throws too many strikes actually. Beyond that, anybody else that's worth a shout out, worth mentioning? Nick Martinez, Will Warren, Littell. I can't imagine playing Cal Quantrill. Jeffrey Springs is another potential cheap guy that he's shown flashes. Tough ballpark here. Taking on Seattle. We have no lineup just yet. We're assuming that J-Rod's going to be there, and Raleigh and Rosarena. They added Naylor, so lineup's got a little bit better these days. I guess he's in the mix if you're running a certain number of lineups. Do you have 5, 10, 15? How many lineups are you running tonight? 1?
I've just got 2 lineups tonight. So with the small slate, and I'm heading out for this, so just 2 lineups. But I think from a mid-tier perspective, if you're rostering one of these guys, you either have to feel good about them not getting lit up, which it's kind of hard to feel that way about any of these guys, or at least feel like they have some strikeout upside. Sheehan, I do think, has some strikeout upside. I mean, his strikeout numbers do look pretty good, and this Reds team is certainly able to generate swings and misses on their own, no matter who they're across from. So he's probably a guy who I do have at least some interest in. Will Warren, I think, is probably the best pitcher in this range, but I think the matchup is brutal for him, like you mentioned. If he was playing the Angels with this pretty much all right-handed lineup, he'd be money. But that's not the case. He's facing, I think, one righty, so that's not ideal for him. So, I think Warren's still fine. I'm not too afraid of this lineup, but I think his upside's probably pretty capped just based on the matchup-wise because of how severe his splits are. And keep in mind, 21% strikeout rate against lefties is not terrible. We're talking about Kyle Freeland here, who's got an 18% strikeout rate on the season, or 17%. So it's 21% against lefties. Sure, you'd rather have him see righties, but when you're comparing him to other guys in the slate, if he faced only lefties and he had a 21% strikeout rate, he'd still be amongst the top guys from a K perspective. So Warren is definitely still in play for me, especially because I do think he's a pretty solid pitcher. The one thing I don't like about him is it seems like they've been a little bit more restricting on his pitch count and maybe a little bit tighter of a leash there. So that's the one issue that I maybe have with him. And then obviously he can easily get tagged a little bit because he does give it more power against lefties as well. And there's certainly some power lefties in this lineup, but so that's the one thing. But Warren, I think I would still say he's probably my fourth favorite pitcher on the board. Dodgers guys, it's hard because like you mentioned, if Ohtani goes 4 innings, you'd have to pretty much have like the holy grail outcome for Sheehan to get 5 innings. And that's probably not going to happen anyway. So sure, Ohtani could pitch 2 or 3, and then maybe Sheehan can get 4 or 5, but it's not like these guys are cheap either. Like, you're paying a premium for a guy who you generally don't even know. He could not enter the game for all we know. He's expected to, but if he's not starting, the game could go any which way, right? So it's worth mentioning that, especially if he's going to be chalk. That's probably a good spot to maybe get a little bit different. So for me, it goes those top 2 guys, and then it goes Freeland just because of price, and then Will Warren for me. And after that, I do think it's pretty iffy. I will say, do we have the power to give away RG Premium if someone can roster Sheehan and Ohtani and win a tournament with the RG logo? Can we get that?
Sure, why not? I don't think it's going to happen, but good luck. But yeah, if somebody does that and they hit me up on Twitter or whatever, and they show a winner, yeah, absolutely, why not? We can make that happen. Do you think that's a good idea?
No.
Okay,
it'd be fun. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a good idea, no.
The most you can get is 9 innings pitched out of your 2 pitchers, and I guess you can get 18 strikeouts in theory, but probably not.
They both are high strikeout guys, so maybe they pitch 9 innings combined and they rack up, 15, 16 Ks. And Buell and Eovaldi suck. No, it's not. It's not smart. It would be fun. A lot of ifs there.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough as far as ownership. I know you do ownership stuff, or at least you do. Yeah, I think you're on that team. I'm surprised to see Sheehan at 21%, Littell at 17% as the 3 and 4 de facto. Obviously it's Wu and Eovaldi are very clear 1-2, 1 and 1A, however you want to say it. They're taking up essentially half the ownership. There's 200 percentage points to go around. Essentially, they're getting 100% in total on DK. I'm a little surprised that Sheehan and Littell we have as 3 and 4. And Freeland at 9%, Soriano at 11, Springs at 8. I would put those guys ahead of Littell and Sheehan, but none of it's really great. But Sheehan 21% seems weird to me. Like you said, the question marks around him. How much can he possibly pitch? We're not even 100% certain he does pitch. So I would be under that, and I'm going to be under that in the small amount of lineups I play. But if I was playing large field stuff, I'd make sure you get under it as well. And like you said, Freeland at 9% ownership. Yeah, give me that. I know he's not great, but he's professionally trained to throw baseballs with his left hand. And Cleveland, despite being professionally trained to hit them, they've not been very good at that. They have not executed that quite well. Anything else you want to say? Oh, go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I was just saying, just for a little added context on the Dodgers pitching situation. So in the model right now, we have Ohtani going about 2 3/3, so right around 3 innings. We have Sheehan getting about 4 innings, 73 pitches. And you can argue that might even be on the high side of innings pitched, right? So that's worth noting. But I think from an ownership perspective, and I think that's a really good point, the model is probably not taking into account that people aren't seeing him as the projected starter, right, or the probable starter, and that could certainly leave some clicks off of him. So that's probably a good point on Sheehan. I do think that as a result, we probably just see Wu and Eovaldi come in higher rather than one of these other guys popping for a ton of ownership. But that's what I would say for Sheehan's ownership. I can't really speak to Littell too much from the model because that's probably just a projection thing. But for Sheehan, if he's going to be too high, it's almost certainly because the model's not, including the factor of him being a long reliever.
Nothing you can do about it, but if you have Max Kepler in your Philadelphia lineup, he got scratched 4 hours after the official start time, whatever it was. I guess he might have hurt his. They're saying he's got triceps. He hurt himself playing poker in the locker room, I suppose. I don't know. I just assume that's what they're doing. I have no idea what they're up to. I would imagine if you have 4 hours to kill, well, what else are you to do, right? Play some cards. Okay. So he's not in the Philadelphia lineup. That game starts in about 20 minutes or so. All right. Anything else we want to say as far as pitchers? We'll talk about some stacks. We'll talk about some tiers. I didn't want to bother you, Kyle. You were doing the showdown show, so I did make our tiers, our tier category, which we'll learn about here on the fly. We'll talk about that in a second. But pitching-wise, you got anything else before we move on?
No, I think we talked about a lot of these guys and they're bums enough. So I think we should move on.
Yeah. I mean, what are we going to say about some of this nonsense? Again, keep an eye on that Marlins game, Marlins St. Louis, and Roth will be on in about 35 minutes or so. You got Roth, you have Tim, you have Kirkwood. Let me see if he's changed that by chance. Last we saw, oh, you know what? It is improved. So he has upgraded it to straight yellow in St. Louis. So seems like that game's going to go. I'll read this real quick. This is what Roth wrote, dropping in a chat as well. A few big storms around, but while the intensity still looks significant, models have backed off on the coverage. So barring something wild like a hailstorm over the ballpark, I think it's just a chance for a delay. And we don't care about that as far as pitchers because, I mean, if anything, we'll be upset because we want our hitters to hit against Michaelis and Quantrill, I think, right? Quantrill, who's been like not terrible this year, surprisingly, kind of waiting for. Actually, he's got a 5 ERA, right? So I guess he's been better of late. But these are pitchers we want to stick around. We want to pick on them. So it looks like that game is going to it's got better. So, we'll see what Ross says in 35 minutes or so. So today's tiers, we're going to throw 12 teams in the tiers, Kyle. I was scrambling trying to figure out a category, and I saw it was somebody's birthday, and I'm not sure how you're familiar with this person, but maybe the chat is. They'll chime in. Are you aware of Christopher Nolan, the great Christopher Nolan, and the director? He's directed 12 movies. I power ranked his movies. Now, before, 5's always the worst, 1's the best. I just want to get this out of the way. Every movie from Nolan is like at least pretty good, at least decent. So it's no insult. Somebody's got to be 5. I put the one in there I just don't understand. And I don't know if anybody understands it. And somebody explain it to me at some point.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Is Harry Styles in it?
Is that Tenet?
No, never mind.
Which one is Harry Styles in?
I could be completely wrong. I might not want to embarrass myself. It's like a war movie. I don't know. I thought it was Christopher Nolan, but I don't really know.
Is he in Dunkirk?
Yeah, Dunkirk. Yeah.
Yeah, Dunkirk's another one. Well, Dunkirk's it's another one's kind of tricky, and it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. They're all like good and they're all well done, and I can't wait for the Odyssey, which is going to come out next year. Supposedly that's going to be spectacular. But I did power rank my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. Let's see if the chat is chiming in. Yeah, Duncan is saying Tenet a justified 5. Yes, Tenet, spoiler alert, is 5. It looks amazing. I have no idea what's going on in that movie. It made me feel really stupid. Did not understand it, but I'm willing to watch it again and try again, but did not really work for me. But I'm sure it's better than I remember. But we'll go ahead and reveal the board here momentarily. All right, let's go ahead and knock out my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. The Dark Knight, and he did the trilogy. I think that's the best one amongst the 3. They're all good. Are you a fan of the Dark Knight? Have you seen the trilogy from Christopher Nolan?
I have, yeah. And I'm a big fan, yep. Yeah,
okay. So no complaints there. I think The Prestige is like one of the best, 4 or 5 reveals in a movie. I don't want to give anything away. Statute of limitations are up, but if you don't know the reveal in this movie, it's incredible. Just perfectly executed. I don't feel like people talk about The Prestige enough. Have you seen The Prestige? If you haven't, Kyle, get that movie in your queue, watch it, and then thank me later.
I've not seen it, but every time I'm on a show with you, I always add to the list of stuff I'm trying to watch. The list is long, so it might take a while, but I'm working through some Adam Sandler movies right now because of Happy Gilmore 2, but The Prestige I'll add.
You got to prioritize Happy Gilmore 2 over The Prestige. The insult here to Christopher Nolan. Tim in chat saying no spoilers. Tim, it's been 20 years, dude. See the movie. Chris is saying Inception, Interstellar. Yeah, sure. Those are both spectacular movies as well. I did recently watch Interstellar. It's very good. It's not like a mid movie, but I wanted to put at least three of his best on the board. It's just, it's a lot. It is a lot, that movie Interstellar. The music, the presentation, just the movie making from Nolan. He is spectacular. I think he's one of our best directors. All right. Some, you can't include everything. I know some people know Memento, know Oppenheimer, but go ahead. Whatever you haven't seen by him, feel free to check out Christopher Nolan, and happy birthday to him. Let's throw some teams into some tiers, Kyle. First game we're going to talk about, again, 6:40 start. It's the Rockies in Cleveland. Colby Allard, we didn't discuss him at all. Rightfully so, maybe. He is throwing baseballs against Colorado. Kyle Friel on the other side, we talked about how bad Cleveland is versus lefties. Hug watch for Stephen Kwan. This might be his last game ever for Cleveland, right? Yeah. I'm not afraid of guys getting traded mid-game. Like, it happens, but it's so infrequent, and you can't predict it. But just sort of throwing that out there. Not that you're necessarily – I guess you're playing Kwan if you're stacking Cleveland or something like that. But just kind of throwing it out there. Colorado is a dog. Cleveland a minus 180 favorite, despite the fact us liking Freeland. He still needs his offense to score runs for him, and they're outside of course. They have a 3.5 total. Where do you want to put the Rockies and the Guardians on the board?
Yeah, obviously, I know I touched on, my liking of Kyle Freeland here, but also I'm not oblivious to the fact that he's a volatile pitcher. So I'll give the Guardians at least some love. I'll put him in the Dunkirk category. And I don't mind if maybe for some reason people think Kyle Freeland's going to be popular in certain contests or whatever it may be. If that's a spot where he is going to have some ownership and you want to bump up the Guardians, that's fine. I'll have them in the 4th tier off the thought that Freeland's not going to be too popular, sub 10, 15%. And the Guardians just, aren't that interesting of a team. On the other side, for the Rockies, I was trying to kind of see where we might have had them for a team ownership perspective. And it looks like we have them as a pretty low owned team. So I'm going to bump them up a little bit. I'm actually going to put them in the Interstellar category, which might be a hot take for the Rockies, but they've been a little bit better since the break. And when you look at this team against lefties, they have a couple of big bats. So it's very easy to form a mini stack, at least with guys like Goodman, Doyle, Jordan Beck, even Tovar, Estrada. You can form mini stacks and certainly salary saving stacks. So I'm going to give the Rockies, maybe not off of total run production expected, but just ease of getting into lineups and maybe even needing that salary relief. So I'll put them in the 3rd tier.
You ran down some names for Colorado. Your favorite one-off, Goodman? Who's it? Goodman? Is it Beck? Who's our favorite one-off for Colorado?
It's going to be Beck for me slightly. And I think the big thing about these guys here is they're all high strikeout guys, but they have a lot of power. Colby Allard does not strike out a lot of righties. So that's pretty much a prime matchup for those guys. I'll give Beck the slight edge because there's another catcher that I'm going to touch on later that I like. But Hunter Goodman is also a very strong play tonight at the catcher position.
If we were to power rank names of players that are playing baseball tonight, where would Warming Burnable land on your list? What a great name, right? Absolutely
at the top. No one's better.
Who would touch that? Who can top Warming? That is pretty strong. All right,
he's been warming up too. He's got 3 extra base hits in the last 2 games.
It's a good name for an athlete for sure. That's streaky. Will Warren throwing baseballs versus the Rays. The Yankees are minus 140 favorites, 9 total. Zach Littell on the other side. Obviously no Judge here, but lots of lefties here against Littell. Littell's giving up the most homers per 9 on the slate by a good bit, 1.82 homers per 9. Fly ball guy, it's part of that probably is his home games in Tampa, St. Pete, tough ballpark these days. Same exact, dimensions, just a little bit more humidity in Florida. Yankees and the Rays, we talked about thinking the Warren's got some good stuff, but also not necessarily the right matchup. All those lefties that are going to square off against them. How do you see the Rays and the Yankees? Where are they falling on the board for you?
Yeah, I'm going to like the Yankees a good amount, and especially if this Littell ownership number holds true, right? If he's going to come in above 10, 15%, I think it's going to be a pretty good spot to attack him. I'll put them in the prestige category. It's a small slate, so maybe you could argue they should be a team in the top tier, but it's looking like there's going to be like 2 teams in the top tier for me, and then we'll kind of decipher the second tier after that. But the Yankees I do like quite a bit here, and I'll like them even more if Littell ends up being popular, which I think would be a spot where I think that's kind of a mistake. For the Rays, again, they do have some power, right? And Will Warren certainly is prone to power against lefties, and the guys who don't have power have speed. So I'm kind of keeping Steve on his toes here. But the Rays I'm actually going to put in that second tier as well. And I know I touched on Will Warren being my 4th favorite pitcher, but again, it's a very weak pitching slate. If you're building several lineups, I don't mind kind of, diversifying your portfolio here between Warren and the Rays, because again, the guys who don't have the power here for Tampa, guys like Simpson, Walls, Mangum, stolen base upside galore. So if these guys can get on base and generate some power and some base running against Warren, I think they have a good chance to put up some production.
Brandon Lau back from the IL. This is like the perfect ballpark for his swing. Yep. Jumping in the 2 spot. I assume he's fine. I assume he's good to go. But yeah, he's batting second tonight for Tampa. The Dodgers are in Cincinnati. It's Ohtani and Sheehan. We're presuming it's Sheehan falling behind him. Ohtani, maybe he goes 4 innings, something like that. Taking on Nick Martinez for the Reds. Dodgers pretty big favorites, minus 160. Betts, Ohtani, Smith, Freeman, Teoscar, Pajes, Conforto, Rojas, and Alex Freeland. A cheapie there for you. By the way, speaking of the Dodgers, apparently Blake Snell is going to start for them on Saturday. So there we go. Did you forget he was in the team? I kind of forget sometimes. Blake Snell.
I forgot about him and Roki for a minute. I totally forgot about Roki. He's somewhere too, floating around.
Yeah. I saw he had a bobblehead coming up, and his bobblehead has been made more appearances than he has, I think. Also news coming in, apparently the Mets and the Phillies are the front runners for Luis Roberts. So there you go. And that kind of makes sense. I suppose that's not terribly surprising, assuming he moves. Dodgers locked in for 9. Great ballpark. Team total above 5. Where are the Dodgers as well as the Reds?
Yeah, Dodgers are going to be in that top tier, the Dark Knight tier. I believe they have the highest team total on the board. Nick Martinez, I will say, has some of the most confusing underlying metrics. Like he has a fairly high ISO allowed. His Sierra is pretty high. But he gives up like a 38% hard contact rate against righties, 46% against lefties. So this is a guy who isn't really getting hit all that hard, but he's still not pitching all that great. So it's certainly weird, but it's not like he has a super high BABIP either. So it's very weird underlying data for him. To your point that you mentioned earlier, without being able to play Ohtani, that kind of puts a little bit of a dent in the resume of the Dodgers as a stack. But I mean, you still have plenty of options, and honestly, it makes it even more easy
cheaper
to fit in. Yeah, cheaper, exactly. So I think all things kind of work out pretty well for the Dodgers as the top stack tonight. And then for Cincinnati, again, definitely have some bats in here, but they're going to be in that Dunkirk tier for me. I don't love spots like this where it's like almost difficult to even predict who's going to be on the bump against them. I don't really want to attack Ohtani. And then if Sheehan's going to be after him, I respect him as a pitcher as well. So I'll put them in the 4th tier because they do have some upside guys with power and speed, but not too excited about them.
Freeland not available on DK. I think he's 2K on FanDuel. Freeland has shown some power, 12 homers this year, 17 stolen bases, 94 games. Last season in 136 games, 18 homers and 31 stolen bases. He's one of the bigger prospects in the Dodgers organization, according to Fangraphs. What's interesting is, 4th prospect in the organization, but it's always depends on the organization. You could be a better prospect for one team, and then somebody else that's 1 for another team. According to Fangraphs, 4th for LA and 39th overall. Just 23 years old. Again, I think playable on FanDuel. I don't think he's in the pool on DraftKings unless I typed his name in wrong. Let's keep it going here. Next up is the Marlins. The Marlins in St. Louis. We weren't really sure about this game weather-wise, but Roth gave it an upgrade. We're looking at Yellowknell. Michaelis taking on Cal Quantrill. 8.5 total. Not the best ballpark. Minus 149 favorites. Marlins and Cardinals. Where are they going to land on the board?
Yeah, for the Cardinals, I mean, Quantrill's not bad, but he's been solid against lefties, and obviously there's a couple of righties in this lineup that you like, but it's just not a sexy lineup. I'll put them in the interstellar category. I wouldn't even mind arguing if you want to put them in the second, that's for the Cardinals. Sorry, Steve. If you want to put the Cardinals in the second category, that's fine. I'm just not super high on them. For the Marlins, I'll have them as well in the interstellar category. And then, I mean, for the Marlins, I actually like some of these guys as like a one-off option or like a mini stack option. They don't have a super high team total, but the thing I do like about them is a lot of the guys with the big pop in this lineup, they struggle just with whiffs, and that's not a thing you have to worry about here with Michaelis, who's not trying to get you to miss, and he's giving up a lot of hard contact, and he's not really keeping the ball on the ground either especially against lefties. So Stowers, I think, is a great play. Sanchez, I like. Ramirez, I like. I touched on that catcher option that I like. 2 catchers in this game. Ramirez, I like a lot, and then Ivan Herrera as well as a righty against Quantrill, who struggles against righties. Both of those guys in the catcher slot, I think, are 2 of the better catcher plays for me on the board, along with Goodman.
Is Herrera once again playing the outfield? I see Pozo's in there. I'm not sure who's DHing, but I believe I threw Herrera in the outfield the other day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're sticking him out there on the outfield once. Well, yeah. Well, Contreras plays first, right? Contreras plays first base for them. Okay. Yeah, keep an eye on that. Going to be hot there. It's hot in a lot of places. I was looking at the Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, the Weather Edge tool, 91 game sample. Not a big needle mover in that sample. We do get the fire emoji. It's 88 as far as the temp. Wind is blowing in from center field at 5 miles per hour, but just basically a marginal bump to homers, no real bump to runs. Interesting there. Basically pretty neutral according to historical data. Same thing with Cincinnati. It's going to be hot, 91, but 68 previous games, 7% bump and runs, basically nothing as far as homers. I was watching that game yesterday, man. There was like 3 cheapy homers. I don't know if you were watching that at all, but God, who was pitching for the Dodgers? It was why can't I think of the guy? Glasnow. Yeah, Glasnow, who looks like the dude from Interstellar. Not Interstellar, the guy from Oppenheimer. Right?
Oh, I thought you were saying, let's say McConaughey. I can kind of see McConaughey a little.
But I think it looks very much like the Oppenheimer guy, which I'm using his name. Yeah, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Do a side by side of them, Steve. See, maybe if you can make that happen. I don't know if that's possible or not. Somebody probably has it already made. That ballpark, man. It is. We talk about the small ballpark. It's just a couple cheapies that happened last night. It's just tough. It's tough to get away. You really can't get away with anything. There you go. That's pretty similar, right?
Yeah, they're related.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done. Look at Steve. He's on top of everything. All right. I'm getting distracted now. What were we talking about? We were talking about the Marlins. I was talking about weather. That's what I was doing. I was kind of running down the weather, and that ballpark is pretty tricky. Now, the baselines are good, so it's not really moved a ton, but that's fine because we like, homers in there are good as is. Again, 91 the temp there in Cincy. I don't know what to do with the Yankee stuff. It's 16 game sample, so whatever. But we've seen a homer increase at 69%. So that's obviously not sustainable.
It's a nice increase.
It isn't I cut off the percentage, the decimal point, 69.4%. But yes, 90 is the temp, 18% bump and runs. But again, just 16 games. It's a good environment, but I wouldn't completely lose my mind, over that increase. Everything else is pretty standard, pretty normal. 2 more games to go. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do you want to tease the people with one of? I know you have like 4 or 5 people posted up on scores and all. Do you have a favorite golfer? Maybe you hit a certain level of likes. I don't know what the threshold would be. 75, 100, and we'll give the people one of your outrights. Is there somebody you feel like that's going to get a full unit or a half a unit? That's your absolute favorite this week.
I do have a guy in there at half a unit at 28 to 1. I also have 100 to 1 that I could give away. That's not a half unit, but it's hey, at half or at 0.1 unit. I mean, if you're gonna win 100 to 1, you'll take that all day. So if I can give either one of those away or both, whatever, I'll let you call the show.
I usually tail your bets, but unfortunately, I'm here in Florida. There is a monopoly, and it turns out when there's a monopoly, they don't give you better odds; they give you worse odds. Who would have guessed, right? Yeah. Because there's nowhere else to go except like the shady barbershop or something like that. And getting my shoes shined or something. But I was not in on your winner last week because the number they gave me wasn't nearly as good. And I was happy for you, but I was still kind of tilted. I'm like, man, I think I got 30 to 1. It's like,
was it the Goddard one that you did tail a couple weeks?
I did have Goddard up. Okay. Yeah, I did have Goddard up a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. Is that dude like legit now? Like, he came out of nowhere. I don't know anything about golf, but I think he kind of came out of nowhere. He's been on fire for 3 straight weeks. Yeah, is that how golf works?
Yeah, I mean, in golf, there's so many guys who are like really intriguing young prospects in college or whatever it may be, maybe on a different tour, and then they kind of get their card or whatever, and they're just silent for a while because it's so hard to win on tour, and people don't really give you the credit you deserve, like especially like national media with the golf. I mean, guys in DFS in the betting world, they're more in tune to like giving guys their flowers without winning, but you don't really get that until you win. And obviously Goddard got that win. And then people will see he performed well at the U.S. Open, did good at the Open Championship, then came back at the 3M last week and got another top 10. So he's legit. I mean, as a American, I'm hoping he makes the Ryder Cup team. He's going to need another final push here, but I think it would be a big increase to their chances to win if he's on the Ryder Cup team. So that's what I'll say about Goddard.
Is that like 7v7? What's the Ryder Cup? Is it 7 on each side?
So it's two 12-man teams, and I think they do. It's like 4 8v8 rounds, and they do different like formats and stuff. So yeah,
Are we home or away this year?
we're home. It's at Bethpage in New York, so it should be a rowdy one. The team is looking shaky compared to years past, the American team, but hopefully, I mean, the home team I think has won like the last like 5 or 6 Ryder Cups. The last time they lost, I think it was on American soil, I believe. But so hopefully that doesn't happen again this year.
Is there one guy that kind of picks the team? Am I right in saying that, or like he picks a certain number of players?
Yeah. So the first 6 guys can qualify on points. So like it's kind of like the FedEx point system. Like they have a Ryder Cup point system, and the top 6 guys automatically qualify, and then the next 6 are president's picks. Which this year the president is Keegan Bradley, who was like 9th or 8th in points, so he could technically pick himself.
Yeah.
But usually they do like older guys who like aren't going to be playing. But Keegan Bradley kind of got the shaft last Ryder Cup, so they kind of wanted to honor him. And he was like on the Netflix documentary. Like he thought he was going to make the team, didn't. So they honored him by getting the President Cup, and that kind of made things messier because he'd probably be on the team pretty easily if he wasn't the president. But I don't think he wants to pick himself.
That's interesting.
Or
Yeah, so lots of drama surrounding that. All right, 2 more games to go. Learning a little bit about golf. I actually watched a little bit the other day. It's last couple weekends ago when I had a bit of a sweat, and it's really impressive how good they are. It's just amazing how good they are.
Yeah.
Texas and the Angels, Soriano taking on Eovaldi. We know Eovaldi, one of the most popular pitchers, if not the most popular pitcher on this slate. I do think it's an interesting idea to attack him. Not that that's worked out this year, but small slate. Sometimes just a couple homers can win it.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to put up a huge monster score if nobody does anything collectively. Texas is a 4 total, a -125 favorite. Soriano, just a tough guy to stack against, in my estimation, just because of how he keeps the ball on the ground. 0.5 homers per 9 in the season. His ground ball rate is like in the 99th percentile in baseball. Doesn't mean he won't give up a homer or 2. BABIP, sometimes the gods are not on his side. That's how he gets beat up. Where do you want to put Texas and the Halos?
Yeah, so for the Angels here, obviously Eovaldi is going to be chalky. He's been fantastic when healthy this year, but like you mentioned, I mean, a couple home runs, they could score 3 runs off of Eovaldi and then maybe get 3 more off the bullpen, whatever it may be. He's done an excellent bullpen behind him. So for me, they're not going to be in the bottom tier. I'll put him in the Dunkirk tier. And if you're playing 150 lineups, you almost certainly want to get some exposure to the Angels just because of the leverage. Because again, Eovaldi, we haven't projected for 50%. We talked about reasons why we believe he might be even a bit higher. So the Angels could have a lot of leverage. On the Rangers' other side, you mentioned Soriano, the ground ball rate. I mean, this guy needs to be on either the Cardinals or the Astros with that ground ball rate. That's kind of their go-to. But I'm also going to put the Rangers in the interstellar tier. Again, I don't love stacking against Soriano, and I don't love stacking the Rangers because they've been one of the most frustrating teams in baseball this year. But when they put up runs, they do it in bunches. And I mean, it's a team with Jonah Heim as the 9-hitter, Josh Young as the 8-hitter. It's a pretty good lineup. They've just been super underwhelming this year. They do have some guys in this lineup that I think can get the job done, though. So put them in the 3rd tier.
Have you been playing Jock Peterson on the cheap when he cracks the lineup unsuccessfully? It's just not been good.
Yeah, I think it was. What was it last night or was it 2 nights ago against Kahanowitz? That night I played him, but I think he was also chalk that night, so I felt like an idiot for playing a chalky Jock Peterson.
It seems like a terrible play, but I did it as well. We are still waiting for their lineup officially. Let's see. We got the A's, no Rangers just yet. A's, Butler, Kurtz, Rooker, Langeliers, Soderstrom, Andahar, Cortez. The only thing we had different was Schumann cracked the lineup in the 8-hole, and Hernaiz. It gets ugly pretty fast there. Front 5, good. Back 4, not terribly impressive. Hit that like button, do subscribe. You turn on those notifications. We have crunch time coming on in about 10 minutes or so. First pitch is 6:40, so crunch time coming on early. The Hammer game that's been terribly underwhelming, at least for me. If you're on the Mariners and the Athletics, this series has been pretty underwhelming. It's Jeffrey Springs throwing baseballs against the Mariners. Brian Wu, another one of the more popular, one of the better arms, not necessarily a savant when it comes to striking people out, but really, really good at getting out, collecting outs, keeping, throwing strikes, super the walk rate's 4 or 5% or so. I did a quick little search, and by the way, I slighted Soriano. He's actually in the 100th percentile when it comes to ground ball rate. So he might have the best ground ball rate in all of baseball. If not him, he's like top 2, top 3. But Mariners, A's, that ballpark's still good. A little bit cooler than it has been. Still a great hitting environment. It's 82, wind blowing out left center. Seattle and the A's. What do you got for me?
Yeah, Springs has been a guy that I've been happy to target so far this year. I mean, he's got a lot of underlying numbers that look pretty tough. I mean, he's not missing a lot of bats. Ground ball rate is pretty low, and especially in a ballpark that has not been kind to pitchers. He just hasn't been a guy that I think is going to be having a ton of success recently, and he's been fine. I mean, I stacked against him with the Astros last time out, didn't have a ton of success there. But Seattle's still going to be a top stack for me. They're in the Dark Knight tier. I mean, even if you're just using a couple of guys, right? Even if it's just a 3-man stack, Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Rosarina. I mean, Julio Rodriguez has been horrible against righties this year, but he's been pretty good against lefties. Obviously, Cal Raleigh is superhuman. Rosarina much better against lefties. Then you also get some value guys, a little bit more in play, guys like Dylan Moore, who's been a lefty dominator over the course of his career. Polanco's been good against lefties over the course of his career. Garver as well. So Seattle in the top tier for me. And then the A's, this is an interesting spot because they actually have a pretty high team total, right, for in a matchup against Wu, who's going to be very popular. So I'm going to have an empty tier 5 tonight. I'm going to put the Mariners in the 3rd tier, Interstellar. I think if Wu wasn't in, like if I was just ranking teams based on where I like them, they'd probably be in the 4th tier, but I'll bump them up a little bit because of the fact that Wu is going to be so popular. And the fact that, I mean, 4.5 team total against a chalky pitcher, like there's certainly worse leverage plays out there. And especially if you're just doing a smaller stack, like 1 through 5 here, all have a 180 ISO or higher against right-handed pitching so far this season. So there's definitely some power bats in this lineup to attack Wu, especially if you're not playing him. Like if you're not playing Brian Wu, you might as well take a good hard look at an 8 stack.
You're spending up for 1 bat in this game. Is it Kurtz or is it Raleigh?
It's probably gonna be Raleigh for me.
Yeah, but if you're playing the A's, if you're not playing Wu, is Kurtz your favorite hitter, or is it somebody else?
Yeah, it'd be Kurtz.
Yeah. Cash. You can already cash your AL Rookie of the Year tickets, right? That's a foregone conclusion at this point. The only competition I think was Wilson, his teammate, who was the starting shortstop. I don't know who else would be in the AL Rookie of the Year conversation. Maybe I'm not thinking somebody correctly, but Kurtz, who was terrible his first 15 games or so, and then just out of his mind the last couple months or so. Still just 22, I believe. Lots of promise there. Okay, crunch time coming on 5 minutes or so. Did we hit the threshold for likes? How many likes do we have, Steve? Let me know. We want to give away. Let's wet the beak a little bit as far as giving the people one of your favorite picks outright. I will recap the board here in just a second. I do want to mention, with football being right around the corner, you're talking about the showdown stuff. That's why you subscribe. Tomorrow night, or is it tonight? We're going to show the video for tomorrow night's football game, the Chargers and your Detroit Lions. You're a Lions fan. Are you going to watch the game? Are you excited? Do you get excited about this?
No, I honestly, I hate preseason if I'm not betting on it. Like, I think it's just the worst content you could ever watch. Like, if people aren't gambling on the preseason and you're watching it, you must just love football. Like, you must just absolutely live and breathe football, because otherwise,
really miss it. You really miss it.
It's been a while. If you miss it that bad, go watch some highlights. You're not enjoying yourself watching preseason. I mean, preseason is horrible unless you're winning money on it. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well. I do not imagine watching the game at all. But should mention Fantasy Lab. It's your home for season-long fantasy football, best ball content as well. Ever changing every single day. It seems like more injuries are happening. The Mixon injury there with Houston. Likely for Baltimore is kind of a bummer for me, but nobody cares about my team. Get access to rankings, projections, articles, and more from award-winning experts. You got Sean at Corner and Chris Raybon. Fantasy Labs, they have an app as well that allows you to check out some real-time rankings, some draft cheat sheets, lineup advice on the go. Sign up now. We have a promo code for you. It's RG15. RG15 gets you $15 off over there at Fantasy Labs. I was going to recap the board, and I probably did a bad job segueing away from the board, but here it is. It's back up. Thank you, Steve. If you missed it, it's Christopher Nolan's birthday, so shout out to him. So I power ranked his movies. And again, there's no bad ones. Something's got to be 5, right? Something's got to be in the gutter,
and I just picked the one that I don't understand. And there's no teams to hang out with 10 at 2. But tier number 1, the Dark Knight, it is the Dodgers and the Mariners. Tier 2, the Prestige. You got the Yankees and Tampa facing each other there in New York. Most popular tier right there, smack in the middle, Interstellar. That's the Rockies, St. Louis, the Marlins, Texas, and the Athletics. And Dunkirk has Cleveland, Cincinnati, and the Angels. And again, nothing there in the gutter. Who's producer Steve talking about being so out of shape? Who are we talking about? I feel like I'm missing a different conversation, but he was commenting on something there in the chat.
Jock Peterson.
Oh, is he? Is he looking like a little puffy, like a little husky these days?
Big beer belly, yeah.
Well, he got paid, whatever. He's in the keeping with the golf theme. He's in the back 9. He's in hole like 17 or so of his career, right? Why not? He's segueing into retirement, which might come faster than he expected. The way he's hitting.
Isn't he the one that got into a fight with Tommy Pham over fantasy football?
Well, Mike Trout was the apparently a terrible commissioner. He did a bad job making some rulings. I think it was Jock Peterson. I think you're right. Peterson and yeah. So somebody said that Mike Trout just wasn't very good at being a commissioner. Which, by the way, he's got time for that.
It's always the commissioner's fault.
Oh, it's the most thankless job. I've done it before. Like your home league commissioner, never again. Literally never again. I would never do that.
I'm the commissioner with the league with all of my best friends. It's and it's horrible. I can't even look up from my phone without getting yelled at. I am always under attack. But you know what? We do it for the love of the game.
In every trade, there's always that one guy this is obviously it's collusion, because it somehow screws him. It's a thankless job, Kyle. Somebody's got to do it. And I guess, is there any chance are you commissioned for life? You don't want to step down, or just nobody else is going to step up and take it, so the league would just disband.
I mean, I've been doing it for so long now. It feels like there's no other way. But I would, if someone stepped up, I would happily give it away, because I think it's also been bad luck for me. I've been absolutely getting pulverized in that league. So get it away from me.
Well, the other part of it is your friends probably, you're this quote unquote expert, and look how terrible you are.
100%.
You're not spending any time on that. You're not sitting there 10 minutes to kick off debating between your two wide receiver 4s. You're thinking 100%. About DFS stuff. So you're not making pickups at 3:00 in the morning, or your fab. This isn't
I do that sometimes. I do the pickups at 3 a.m. because I'm just up like that naturally. So
yeah, I was trying to give you a little bit of defense while your team's not very.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, it was fine last year, and this is my year. I swear.
I was kind of speaking to myself too, because I'm kind of the same thing where my teams are not very good, and it's it's probably because I don't pay. I'm giving myself the out. I'm giving myself the excuse. All right, crunch time is here. They are fully assembled. It's Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. It's Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, as well as TastefulTides. Tim, let's do it. Let's begin crunch time right now. Is anybody here, Roth, Kirkwood, Tim, anybody the commissioner of your fantasy? Is anybody? No, there's no way Roth. Maybe Kirkwood? No. Tim.
Are you kidding me?
Tim, I could see Tim doing it. No.
I could see
no chance.
Ever once? Did you retire from
Never once. I would never do that.
No. Yeah. Just
I'm way too busy for something like that.
Would you trust Kirkwood if he was the commissioner? A little too shady for you?
No. I would definitely.
Here we go. Dean's always best besmirching me. It's crazy.
It was a question for Roth, because Roth always takes these backhanded comments. Kirkwood, you're actually nice and from Boston. That's so weird. That doesn't make any sense.
It's true. It's a rarity over there.
He did hip check me during a RotoGrinders basketball game once, so nice might be a stretch.
Oh.
Look, on the court, it's a different. It's I'm a competitor.
You'll take any edge.
Any means necessary.
I respect it. I respect it.
You're like Kobe running through.
I'm so over the hill. That's all I got. I like the old man dirty tricks. It's it's terrible.
Hey, there's no blood. There's no blood. It's all good.
Yeah. I even gave you the help up. I even offered the hand to help you up.
You did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you knocked him down there, to be fair. I mean, that's the only reason why he's down there.
Yeah, but I offered the hand to make me look like a good guy,
And Roth right there. Look at that. Look at the Boston guy. Roth, are we thirsty?
We're just getting up our protein. We're trying to get 200 grams a day. It's tough to do, so you gotta bring in the shake sometimes, Dean.
How many grams were in the popsicles earlier today?
Oh,
like a popsicle.
There were none in the popsicles with principles. That, by the way, I can't believe I missed a show for that. We were there for like 5 minutes, and my daughter was like, "I don't like it. I want to go." Like, all right. So we turned around and left.
Well, there you go.
Sorry, I missed a show for literally nothing. My bad. I did not even meet a principal.
It's fine by me. TJ got out of bed, but I'm sure he'll be okay on the West Coast. But all right, we got anything else here, Kyle, or shall we step aside and make way for crunch time? You guys got 37 minutes, plenty of time. I saw you upgraded the St. Louis Marlins game, the game in St. Louis. I guess we're feeling better about it. Now it's just straight yellow. Has anything changed since the article, Roth?
The question is that an upgrade or a downgrade if I went from orange to yellow? You said upgraded.
Well, you'd seem more likely that they're going to play, right? Is that not an upgrade?
Well, I downgraded the risk. I upgraded the chance of them playing. I don't know. It depends what you call it, man.
I suppose it's perspective. Yeah. It seems like more likely it's going to play. Yes. And I think you kind of gave like a potential delay, but don't worry. Nobody cares about Michaelis and Don't worry about the pitchers. Unless if you want to be goofy, I guess you can roster Michaelis or Quantrill, but I don't think people are enthralled about either one. But the way we're seeing it right now, we're expecting that game's going to play with a possible delay. Is that correct?
Yeah, nailed it. Look at you.
Well, I'm just regurgitating. I read your article. I'm not a meteorologist. I didn't go to school for 17 years or whatever it was. I don't have 7 degrees.
I went for 9 years, but 7 of those was just at Florida State as an undergrad being a dumbass. So
you and Bert Kreischer just hanging out at Florida State. All right. Myself and Kyle, we're going to get out of here. Do what that like button. Oh, Kyle, I did promise the people, give him one golfer you have as far as outright this week.
Aaron Rye, 28-1.
There you go. All right.
And Kyle's been hot, right? He's been crushing.
I was going to say, shout out to Kyle. He's been amazing PGA this last few weeks.
Couldn't do it without
his
you guys.
Flowers earlier. Three winners, 3 outrights in 6 weeks.
That's insane.
And 2 of those other weeks, he lost in a tiebreaker, I believe.
That's what a heater. What was this guy's name again? So I can make a mental note.
Aaron Rye for this week.
Okay. There you go.
RAI, by the way. Is that correct, Kyle?
Correct.
I would have not.
Don't watch him play because he does wear 2 gloves, and that might annoy you. But
yeah, don't mush him, Dean. Come on.
Yeah.
How did I mush? I'm just saying the guy's name, and I just wanted to spell it because to me, if you didn't know, you'd probably be spelling in like RYE and like, where's this guy? He's not the player pool. Okay, that was Kyle. I was Dean. This is Crunch Time. Roth, it's all yours.
Good stuff as always. Welcome to us. Someone says, "Get a haircut, Kyle." Yeah, you do you, man. We're all jealous of it. Hey, welcome to it. You know the drill. It's CT. It's what the kids call it in the streets. Kirkdiese, you look good, man. Your hair is phenomenal. For you to be 55 and still have that hairline is fantastic.
Yeah, here we go. Super cuts today. It was a big day for me.
Oh, amazing. How are you, bud?
I'm doing all right. Like I said, had the cut. I closed my eyes. Hope for the best. Don't look at it till you get home. And my girl on FaceTime was like, ugh.
Really?
Yeah. But then I take a shower. You fix it up a little.
My wife hits me. I get the haircut, and I hate getting a haircut because, I'm like losing my hair. I got this big comb over going. And then I get back, and I'm like, what do you think? And every time she just goes, what's the fucking same? Like, cool. Thanks for supporting me. Love that. We got TastefulTides in the house. A lot of people say he looks like Jude Law, and they're not wrong. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm doing well. I had an absolutely awful early slate. I don't even know if I scored positive points, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping I do a little better here in this evening slate because the early slate was pretty much a stone disaster for me.
Well, the thing about losing is you might as well lose real bad. Just get it all out of the way. If you're not making money, you might as well go negative. We'll turn it around. We'll get some dubs on the board for today. We mentioned some weather concerns. I would say concerns is kind of, we'll put it in the air quotes. Let me do a quick radar check in New York, where a late start wouldn't shock me. There's like actually a downpour very close to Yankee Stadium now. Just to the north, it probably stays north. I wouldn't be shocked if we get a late start in New York. But who cares, right? The game's going to play. I don't think it's very likely we see an in-game delay in New York. And then the next spot is St. Louis. I downgraded or upgraded the risk there. I made it yellow. I think it's just a chance for a delay. And if you do want to get frisky and play pitchers, I wouldn't even call you crazy for that. we're not seeing the kind of model coverage on radar, the kind of storm coverage on radar that models were depicting earlier. That's basically that. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. And Tides, you can lead us off. What are we doing?
Can I
tonight?
ask you one more weather-related question before I do that?
Please, actually, I'd love it.
That Yankees game has like a huge home run boost in weather edge. Only a 16-game sample size, but are you anticipating it being that warm? Would that have a dew point? And I'm not just asking because Kirkwood's on the show. I'm being serious. Like, is it going to be that warm like throughout the evening?
Yeah, it is.
Let me take this one over.
Yeah.
So sorry.
We've got it at 90 at first pitch, and even by the end of the game, it's 87. So you're only losing a few degrees, right? So all game long, it's warm and it's humid. And winds are strongest. Winds are blowing in. So winds are not in the correct direction, but they're stronger early. So late game, you could even argue the hitting is maybe even better than early because you don't have to try to knock it through a 5-mile-per-hour wind. So, yeah, I think I didn't even see what the results were, but I think it's certainly good hitting weather there in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really small sample size, but it just seems like insanely good hitting weather.
Yeah, it is certainly a plus. And let's dive into the slate as a whole, or you could just start me off on pitchers.
Yeah, I'll just talk about pitchers real briefly. It's only a 6-game slate tonight. Very, very kind of limited options, but the options that we do have, I think, are fairly strong. I think we got to start with Nathan Eovaldi at 10-5 going up against the Angels. A really, really good matchup. Eovaldi was kind of hurt for a little bit. He came back in late June, early July, and they gradually ramped up his pitch count. He's back to normal now. I don't have any issues with his pitch count. He should hit his pitch count ceiling tonight. I think he's your first pitcher in for both cash games and GPP. I ran Sims before the show. I'm getting to more Eovaldi than any other pitcher on the slate. So he's definitely my SB1 today. I think that's a pretty easy call, like around the board, like no matter what your contest type is. And then the next guy in that kind of premium bucket is Brian Wu going up against the Athletics. A little bit more risk involved with Wu. And it's, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like super easy to double pay up today, but if you do want to double pay up, there are some options. So like Wu and Eovaldi are your two like raw point guys. I think that you're going to go Eovaldi, Wu in cash games. GPPs, there's like a few guys that are like all within like a point of each other, in my opinion, and in projections. Jose Siriano, I think, is my favorite at 8K. But I think in terms of like just like hunting for upside, Will Warren at 7,800. It isn't a great matchup because Tampa Bay has so many lefties in it, but it's still, I think Will Warren definitely has like the highest K upside. And then, Emmett Sheehan, I guess at 7,500. And then Kyle Freeland at 6K if you really just want to punt it. Streaming against the Guardians with a left-handed pitcher has been a pretty good, successful way to go about things this year. So 6K, you could do a lot worse if you're just looking to pay up for all the bats, say at Yankee Stadium or the Dodgers against Cincinnati.
Tim, do you agree with where we have the ownership? It seemed when I was listening to you, you felt Eovaldi is the clear number one. We've got Wu coming in at slightly higher ownership. Do you agree with that, or do you think that's going to be flipped?
I think Wu will end up being I think Eovaldi is going to be slightly higher owned than Wu. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because Eovaldi is $500 more. That's what the ownership team is thinking. It's gonna be close though. Okay. But I think Eovaldi is going to be the highest owned of the group. And then I think if you're looking, and then I think the other, I don't know where ownership is going to be tough with ownership of some of these cheaper guys like the Sorianos, like the Sheehans, like the Warrens, that whole group. They're in terms of raw points and ownership, they're pretty much projecting as the same thing.
Okay. And then last question for you before we get Kirkdiese's thoughts here. Is the typical build one of these pay up guys like a Wu or Eovaldi and one cheaper guy, do you think? That's kind of the standard
So I mean, I ran 150 optimals from the bats projections, and I just got an absolute ton. Maybe even all of them were Woo Eovaldi.
Okay.
Now I ran Sims with our G projections before the show. Still getting to more Eovaldi Woo than anything else, but I am getting to a lot of Soriano, Sheehan, and Warren.
Okay, very interesting. Kirk, I want to bring you in, talk about what we're doing on DK first. We need 2 pitchers. We've got 2 expensive pitchers and a whole lot of cheapies. How are you doing things?
Yeah, so I say flip a coin between Eovaldi and Woo. They're both fine. I think they're both going to be pretty much exactly the same homes. So I think like Tim, Eovaldi will probably end up with like 5% more or something. So one of those, if you can get both of them, great, do it. You're going to be playing Jock Peterson, who some say that with my shirt off, I look a little better than Josh Peterson, than Jock Peterson at this stage right now. And so that's not a compliment to him. So he looks terrible. He's swinging terribly. He's done nothing all year. Well, could he hit a home run? Yes. So that's why you play him for 2K, he might even be 2,300 now, is he, or something? He's low salary. But anyways, you can fit the top 2, but in order to get like a good stack, like you want like the Yankees, you're probably going to have to play either Will Warren, Soriano, or I think people are going to play Kyle Freeland. I will never push that button. I just won't do it. It's really I really only have 4 pitchers I'm playing, like even considering playing Eovaldi, Woo, Warren, and Soriano.
Okay, and then let's go to FanDuel. Obviously, it's the same names. I shouldn't say obviously. Sometimes the slates are different. Kirkwood, what are we doing on FanDuel? Is there a lone pitcher there that you like? Any differences?
It's the same thing. It's Eovaldi. There's Eovaldi's the top play probably. Brian Woo saves you a little bit of money, so it's flip a coin. The ownership's going to be 5% more probably on Eovaldi, and then there is some significant savings kind of for Warren or Soriano. So, to get some of these stacks, you got to play. You can make things work on FanDuel, but in order to really get all the big bats, going down to like a Warren or Soriano is definitely viable.
Okay, Tim, anything you want to add there on FanDuel that you're doing differently?
Really nothing FanDuel specific that I would do differently. I do want to just talk about Jeffrey Springs real quick.
Please, a lot of people have brought him up in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play him, I think that's completely fine. And in fact, I'm hearing a lot of chatter about Freeland today, and I'm worried that his ownership's going to get steamed up, which I do not like at all. And if Springs is going to get kind of, squeezed a little bit between Freeland, Warren, Siriano, then yes, by all means, play Jeffrey Springs. I mean, this whole 7K range is just completely just lumped together. There's not much separating these guys from each other. So if we think that Freeland, Soriano, those guys are going to get steamed, by all means, play Jeffrey Springs.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to make a point here that you said too. Like I was probably not going to play Freeland, but I was officially out on Freeland when I heard Dean saying, "You know what? I like Freeland." So that's when he's going to get some ownership here tonight.
Yeah, this is just you taking shots back at Dean for taking shots at you. Yeah.
Just calling it like I see it. Just calling it like I see it.
Okay, let's go around the horn, talk position by position, then talk some home runs, then open it up to some QQs. Want to make sure if you're watching in the chat, you hit the thumbs up. It's right there. It's like right there, probably. Just hit that thumbs up for us. We're trying to keep this show free for as long as possible. Many, many years of it, hopefully. But we need the eyeballs. Tim, what are we doing at catcher?
Do you want to do stacks first, Kevin?
Damn it. Thank you. Yeah,
I'm
rusty. I'm
all good. Yeah, so the Dodgers are the top stack across the board today. The problem is that Ohtani is only pitching eligible. So you can't play the best hitter on the best stack, and that makes that stack a little bit kind of weird, I guess, for lack of a better word. I mean, obviously all those Dodger guys are firmly in play. But it does make me like them a lot less now that you can't roster Ohtani. And that's for DraftKings, by the way. You can roster Ohtani as a hitter on FanDuel. So it's a little bit different slate to slate. And then I really like the Yankees today. Granted, there's no Aaron Judge, but I mean, I still think it's a really good spot. And with that hitting weather, I just think it's fantastic. So the Yankees would be my next favorite. And then I think a more like off the board type stack that I like is the Miami Marlins going up against Mikolas. Mikolas has absolutely no strikeout ability, gives up a lot of hard contact, and I don't think the Marlins are going to get very much ownership today. So they are currently – I'm playing a 5-man right now of the Marlins in my primary GPP single entry team. You can definitely avoid the Marlins in cash games if you don't want to play them, but I think they're great for tournaments.
Yeah. Kirkwood, your favorite stacks?
Yeah, we're following the dues. The due points are nice in a couple of parks here tonight. So
they were spiked in Baltimore and they scored, I don't know, 17.
I bet the over. Roth, thank you very much. I saw it. It was only 9.5. It was criminal.
Insane. Yeah.
I didn't have time to play DFS today, but I bet and I went 4-0 and
love it.
I had the Blue Jays in the over in that game. Yeah, that was just free, easy money, just looking at the due. So tonight, my favorite is the Yankees. I don't like the Dodgers really because the fact that you can't play Shohei, the fact, Mookie's starting to come back, but it has been MIA for most of the season. And bottom of the order that I don't think is very good. Can't even play the cheapie at batting number 9 for the reach around stack. So I like the Yankees. I think there's going to be a lot of home runs. I think it's hot, humid, nice dew point there that we should see the ball flying. Little I think it's over for him this season. He hasn't, I think the decline is coming. And so I like the Yankees. Then you have to look at the weather and the ballpark, Mickey Mouse Park for the Mariners against Jeffrey Springs. I think Jeffrey Springs stinks personally. I know a lot of people think he's kind of good. Like you hear a lot. There's a lot of opinions on Jeffrey Springs. My opinion is he stinks. So I like the Mariners bats, but the problem is that it's kind of hard. I mean, it's kind of easy to stack the Mariners actually because the big bats are really all you want. And Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, although it's hard to play Raleigh tonight. The big dumper, and Arozarena. We'll see if Naylor makes the lineup or not. If he does, I'd be fine lefty with him. But really, those are all the bats I want. And then from there, I guess I would say the Marlins against Mikolas. It's decent weather there too. It's hot and sticky out there, at least, right? In St. Louis.
Yeah, always.
And so I just like the Marlins big. If Stowers is in the lineup, I like them. No one's going to want to pay $5.6K for him. Augustine Ramirez is a big bopper. So there's power there. Jesus Sanchez is pretty good. So it's at that 2, 3, 4 is what I like. Maybe even Otto Lopez 5, but that's about it there. So maybe more of a mini stack. And yeah, I'm playing some Guardians. I don't care. Everyone says they can't hit, but like they're at home against Kyle Freeland. Jose Ramirez is an obvious play. Fry, huge pinch hit risk, but also high home run probability against Freeland. Angel Martinez is cheap for an outfield punt play. I don't mind, and I don't even mind turning back the clock on Carlos Santana. So that's where I'm going, every one of those spots.
Okay. Let's go around the horn. Start me off at catcher, and Kirkwood, you can lead us there.
All right, catcher. So this is actually like the most stacked position here we've got tonight in the slate. So you got the big dumper at 6,300. If you can fit him, great. I'm all about Ben Rice for home run upside at 4,100. As the Yankees, I like Jazz and Ben Rice are my 2 favorite Yankee bats tonight. Then there's Will Smith, right? He did make the lineup. David Fry is the guy with the massive pitch hit risk, but also batting clean up in 2,800 against Kyle Freeland, and he's a lefty master. And then there's Herrera for St. Louis Cardinals. There's also Goodman if you want to play a bat on the Colorado side. He's the home run upside, and Augustine Ramirez. So this is a stacked position. Yeah. And I didn't even mention Austin Wells, who's like an obvious home run spot too.
Yeah. Tim, catcher.
Yeah, I mean, this position is exceptionally strong given how small the slate is. I'm going to be playing Ben Rice in cash games today. I think he is the best overall catcher, price, salary included. I do like the Marlins quite a bit. So Augustine Ramirez at 4K is my favorite catcher for a GPP. David Fry is definitely the salary saving option despite the pinch hit risk. If you don't want to absorb that much pinch hit risk, I think you could go Mitch Garver at 3,400, not quite as cheap as Fry, but I think he's okay for a salary saving option as well. And, Kyle Raleigh has gone, I think, a whole 2 games without a home run. Ooh. And, he's going to be, I know, and he's going to be 5% owned. So, do what you want with that information. But he's always a fantastic large field GPP play.
Very good. First base, Tim.
Yeah, I think it's Freddie Freeman at 4,500 is your cash game first baseman. I do like Jonathan Aranda at 4,100. I think he's a really, really great play. If you're not playing Ben Rice at catcher, you should be playing him at first. I think he's great. This is not a great position in my opinion, but I mean, you can go Wilson Contreras at 4,300 in GPPs. Nick Kurtz at 5,800. I mean, he's gonna be super, low owned. He's like extremely pricey, and the matchup is not great. But I think Nick Kurtz is fine for a large field GPP one-off.
Totally. Okay. Very good.
Did Jaron Duran really get traded, Kirkwood?
No, I thought it's.
Oh, you thought it happened?
No, so it was a Duran, but it was the Phillies close to acquiring Yohan Duran.
Oh, gotcha.
And I thought, I just read it quickly, and I thought it was like Jared Duran. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
But,
Kirkwood, first base.
Yeah. All right, sorry. Freddie Freeman.
Oh, look, even the first name is kind of similar. Instead of Jared.
Yeah, Jay Duran. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's tricky as hell.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This is kind of slim pickings. Aranda, I think, is a strong play. Freddie Freeman's a strong play. Yandy Diaz is a strong play. You can punt with Josh Smith for the Rangers at 3,600 if you need it. He's first or third eligible. Kurtz, leverage against Brian Wu. There's a lot of home run upside on the other side of for the Athletics against Wu, and the amount of ownership that Wu's going to have is definitely going to keep their ownership in check. So like Nick Kurtz is an awesome play, and then I'm rolling back the clock here, and I'm playing Carlos Santana in some lineups.
Okay, very good. I believe that brings us to second.
All right. Second base, Jazz, my favorite. Home run upside. Brendan Donovan batting, first for the Cardinals is never a bad play. Has some decent power there. If you need a punt, Rocchio, he stinks, but you're facing Kyle Freeland. He's 2,500. He kind of helps you make some builds. So I get the play. I've toyed around with him a little bit today. I don't like it, but he's there. And I don't know what to do with these Reds. I don't really want to attack Shohei on the mound, but like afterwards, I think they're in that ballpark. There's plenty of upside. So it really all depends how long Shohei goes. So a guy like Matt McLean could be like tricky. And that's it. This is a rough position.
Always. Tides, your favorites. I put in air quotes here at second.
It's kind of a toss-up for me right now between Brandon Lau and Xavier Edwards for cash games. I kind of think I'm leaning I guess I'm leaning Xavier Edwards, but it's super close. Projections are going to tell you to play Lau, and that's completely fine. We do like that game for home runs. I'm just a little bit worried that it's his first game off the IL, so I might just take a wait-and-see approach with him, but that could end up being absolutely terrible. Jazz is the best spend-up option. Obviously we love that Yankees Tampa Bay game, 5,200 in this spot for Jazz, I think is really good. My favorite punt, if you're just looking for a really, really cheap second baseman, is Thomas Sagasi at 2,400, batting in the 8 hole against Quantrill. So I think he's a decent value play. We should be getting to some St. Louis, at least in GPPs today. So he's fine as a salary saving option. And then I think the only other one that I would even consider is Brendan Donovan batting leadoff against Quantrill.
Okay, let's get somewhere a little more fun, hopefully. Third base, what do we like there?
Yeah, it's a little bit more fun because we have Jose Ramirez, but this is not like an outstanding position. Jose Ramirez is one of the best bats on the entire slate. He's 6,500. He can be like a priority spend today in cash because we don't have, we can't play Ohtani on DraftKings. We don't have Aaron Judge. So, I mean, if you want to look for one like premium spend today, Jose Ramirez would probably be that guy. If you don't want to go that high, I don't mind Nolan Arenado at 3,800. I don't remember the last time I actually rostered him, but today I think is a decent time to do that. I do think Junior Caminero against Will Warren is fine as like a one-off. Ryan McMahon at 3,900 I think is a pretty decent play. And again, you can punt this position with a guy like Thomas Sagasi.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, third base.
All right. Jose Ramirez, if you can get him. Other than that, Josh Smith for the punt, kind of 3,600. Yandy Diaz, I don't mind. Not a bad spot for Ryan McMahon. I think he kind of stinks in general. We'll see, but I've been playing. I played Sajazi last night at like no ownership ever, and I felt really stupid. I mean, really dumb. But he's 2,400. Why not? Junior Caminero always has the home run upside, and I don't know. You can that's about it. This position is actually kind of rough. It's like all about catcher tonight.
Yeah.
I wish I could have rostered. So FanDuel, it's a nice night to play 2 catchers.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to shortstop, Kirkwood.
All right. Mookie, just because he's cheap at 4,300. Corey Seager is a nice play at 4,900. Ellie De La Cruz, too tough for me to get to, but I wouldn't tell anybody not to play him. And then this is rough too. There's JP Crawford, who is in that nice game for Oakland. He doesn't have much power, so I don't know. He's not a. I'm playing some Seattle, but I didn't have JP Crawford with it, but he's there. I don't like anybody else. Arias for the Guardians. Sorry, is the punt that I'm playing just against Freeland.
Okay, easy enough. Tim, third base, shortstop rather. Sorry.
Yeah, Kirkie's right on the mark with Betts and Seager as the 1A, 1B option. Ellie is fine if you have the money. The only other person that I would mention is Otto Lopez batting 5th against Mikolas at 3,400. I think he's a decent value. And I don't think the opportunity cost at short is really that high tonight. So it's fine if you want to go a little bit lower to a guy like Lopez. Also don't even really mind Tovar either at 3,200. So I think those two guys in the low 3s are absolutely viable in any format.
Yeah. Okay. Go to the outfield.
Yeah, outfield's a little bit weird tonight. Like I mentioned, we don't have Ohtani on DK. We don't have Aaron Judge either. Teoscar Hernandez on that Dodgers stack, I think, is in a fantastic spot. He's only 4,400. Guys like Teoscar Hernandez, and Mookie Betts are going to be like really, really highly owned today. They should definitely be in your cash games, but I think there's a case to be had to fade them in GPP just because they're going to get such high ownership. I do like guys like Cody Bellinger at 5,400, Giancarlo Stanton at 4,300. We've talked about how much we like that game. My favorite outfielder under 4K is Jesus Sanchez. I've talked about how much I like the Marlins. I think Sanchez is fine even in cash games if you're looking for somebody kind of under that 4K range. I really like Kyle Stowers today. I'm currently playing him in my primary single entry team, so I'm playing Stowers today. I'm really going to be jamming in this Miami team.
Okay, very good. Kirkwood outfield.
Yeah, I like it. We just got a Mariners lineup. Let me just see. All right. I like the Mariners guys the best for the power against Jeffrey Springs with the platoon. Like Julio Rodriguez, a top play. Randy Arozarena is a top play. Other than that, I like the Yankees. So I like Bellinger. I like Grisham, the lefty priority, but also like Stanton and the Martian. Who is Dominguez. Angel Martinez is cheap for batting second against Freeland, 3,500. I mean, if you play Pajes at 4,200 is certainly a fine play against Cincy there in that ballpark. Teoscar Hernandez is cheap, so home run upside 4,400 for him. And then, I do like all the Marlins guys, like Stowers. I like Sanchez and Wyatt Langford for Texas. And of course, we should mention Mike Trout, even though it's against Eovaldi on a 6-game slate, 4,500 Mike Trout. How bad can it be?
How expensive will Mike Trout get by, I don't know, a month from now? Like, is he properly priced?
He's not stealing bases. So the great thing was him with like Acuna. Same with the Acuna was always like, you got 1A, 1B. He's like, okay, if he doesn't hit a home run, he's going to get walked and he's going to steal second.
Right.
Big part of the scoring. So
interesting. Yeah. Okay, I didn't think about that. Okay, you know what? I think we're only 5 minutes to lock. Is that right, Tides? Is it 40 after? Yeah. Well, then we want to give the people some home runs. We want to give them some bombs. So why don't you give me 2-3 names here? People are going to hit a home run of various price points and levels of popularity. Tides, what do you got?
Yeah, I will go. I like Jazz. Not so much for a bet, but I think he's going to homer. Maybe it's part of like a home run parlay. Jazz. I do like Jose Ramirez also. I haven't found like any like that I really like to bet today. Oh, I'll go Mookie Betts plus 425. I don't mind that one. So I'll go Mookie plus 425.
Mookie Boots. Kirkwood, you got a few names for me as well?
Yep. I'm gonna go Stowers on the high side. I'm gonna go Jonathan Dominguez, the Martian, for the Yankees. And then I'm going to say for a turn back the clock, Carlos Santana is going to hit one tonight. And I'm kind of just manifesting. These are guys I'm playing like too much. So I'm also trying to manifest it. And it worked with Ozuna the other night. And he had 2. I can't go to Jock again.
Yeah.
Not after seeing his belly hanging over. It was.
Hey, I want to make sure that people are getting the best deal in the industry, and we've got some questions to get to in the Discord and the YouTube chat. First off, make sure you're signing up for Fantasy Labs, your home for season-long fantasy football and best ball content, rankings, projections, articles. You know the drill. They've got an app that lets you get real-time rankings, draft cheat sheets, lineup advice on the go. I need to download this so I can win my fantasy football league. Sign up now. Code RG15 for $15 off. Okay. Freeland at short, Tim. Freeland for the Dodgers at short. Is that a person? I'm just reading. I just read what the teleprompter tells me.
I'm not really sure what the question is.
Okay. Well, it wasn't a question, to be fair. It was just a statement. Freeland for LAD at shortstop. No, we don't know. We'll move on.
I'll have to. Yeah.
All right. We'll move on. We're 3 minutes until lock. How about this one from D-Rock? DKGPP, Sheehan or Ohtani? We're not playing Ohtani, are we?
I don't think you can play Ohtani tonight. Kirkwood, do you agree with that?
I think you can. He's 7,500. You can get like 3 innings, and maybe you can get if he can give you 2 Ks an inning, like something like 6 Ks, he could be worth it on this slate. But I'm not.
Yeah, I mean
and I'm not playing Sheehan either.
You need basically a perfect outcome for.
Yeah, Alex Freeland is not in the player pool for the Dodgers, so
okay,
that answers that question.
Very good. Let's go to Kirk. People are upset about your beard, Tim.
People want. I was going to say that people want to talk about Tim's haircut and beard. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's really we should be talking about that right now. Yeah, I did go back to that same hairdresser. I did.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it grows back in like 3 days. He's just right back to where he was 3 days later. Let's see. Here we go. Alex Freeland is playing for the Dodgers, only available on FanDuel. So there you go. Jesus Sanchez or Ben Rice on FanDuel. Chris is stacking both teams. Kirkwood, Sanchez or Rice? He's stacking both those teams.
Uncle Ben, Rice.
Uncle Ben. Sagese or Rocchio, DK Cash, Kirkwood?
They both stink. I'll take Rocchio tonight.
Okay, we'll go to Cody's question. Tim, this one's for you. Ben Rice and Angel Martinez or Fry and Stanton?
Ben Rice.
Very good. That's good. We caught up on all the questions just about in time because the lock is seconds away if I've been paying attention to the slate. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else that we've got here? Yeah. All right. Guess what? We did the things that we came here to do. We are seconds until lock. So I think we can clear on out of here. Make sure you hit us with the thumbs up on your way out. It is greatly appreciated as always. So for Tim, for Kirkwood, and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been